never wake a sleeping giant. Hi, and welcome to Fantasy Baseball Weekly. I am Amber Wilson for CBS Sportsline. Senior fantasy baseball analyst Eric Mack will join us in a little bit to go over exactly who's hot and who's not in fantasy baseball, and to take a look at a couple of prospects that could be on their way to help out your fantasy team. Well, don't look now, but the New York Yankees are starting to come to life. With energy provided by the Rockets' return on Friday, New York ran off 6 consecutive W's in Week 10, and some of the quiet bats in New York's lineup a couple weeks ago are making a little bit more noise these days. Take, for example, Bobby Abreu. He entered the month of June hitting just .228 after a terrible month of May, but so far he's been raking it in June. He's 19 of 38 so far this month and has already driven in as many runs in the first 10 days of June as he did in the entire month of May. It doesn't really help you in fantasy baseball, but the real telling stat is his base on balls total. The normally selective Abreu only walked 8 times in May, has already been walked 10 times in June. And it's not just Bobby Abreu. Robinson Cano has raised his average up to near 300 with a .356 start to the month of June. He's got 5 multi-hit games in his last 11. And Alex Rodriguez is back at it as well. After 14 home runs in April, he kind of cooled off in the month of May with only 5 homers. But in through 10 games in June, he's added 5 more to his total of 24, far and away the most in Major League Baseball, as the Yankees climb back towards 500. The Yankees are still 10 games behind the first-place Red Sox, who are tied for the most wins in baseball with the red-hot Los Angeles Angels. The Angels have won 12 of their last 16 games and are comfortably in first place in a very competitive AL West. Sean Figgins is on a 12-game hitting streak that has seen his average soar 100 points. He's also hot on the base pass. He's got 10 steals in his last 10 games. We had a lot of questions about Figgins heading into the season, but he's answering them right now. He's too hot right now to keep on the bench in any league. Casey Kotchman is also scoring hot for the Halos, even with a little bit of a dinged-up elbow. He's batting .533 so far in the month of June with a couple of homers and 6 driven in. He sat out Saturday's game versus the Cards, but was available and is considered day-to-day by the club. And Lou Piniella has apparently lit a fire under Alfonso Soriano. Since his tirade a week ago, Alfonso Soriano has been on a tear. In the 9 games since Piniella was ejected and subsequently suspended, Soriano has 18 hits, including 6 homers. He only had 4 before this current stretch. So that's why Alfonso Soriano makes his way onto our Who's Hot list this week, along with Prince Fielder, of course. He seems to just live on this list. He leads the National League with 23 homers right now. That's the trend in the National League. From 1995 to 2003, the NL leader in home runs was at least 32 years old. Since then, the home run king has been younger than 27 each year. Prince Fielder turned 23 a month ago. The Devil Rays won 5 of 7 games in Week 10, and there's a glut of Devil Rays on the Who's Hot list. Ty Wigington, Carl Crawford, and Jamie Shields. Shields won twice in Week 11 and is now 6-0 on the year. Here's a look at some guys that didn't really get it done. Ramon Hernandez is on his way back to the 15-day DL. He missed 3 weeks earlier this season and now will be out for the immediate future after taking a foul ball to the groin on Wednesday. And Daisuke Matsuzaka went 0-2 in Week 10, losing tough games to both Oakland and Arizona. He hasn't won in his last 3 starts. He's still striking out a lot of batters, but also giving up a lot of hits and walks. His whip is around 1.7 in his last 4 starts. Okay, when we come back, Eric Mack joins me. He's got the answers to your fantasy questions. He's also got the latest on some hot prospects that can help you out, so don't you dare go anywhere.
When my doctor told me my high blood pressure may have led to my erectile dysfunction, I was surprised. But then he said there was something I could do.
When I found out my diabetes could have led to my ED, I learned there was help.
My doctor told me about Levitra.
Levitra is clinically proven to work for men with ED, even those with high blood pressure or diabetes. Levitra is only for men healthy enough for sexual activity. If you have heart problems or are on alpha blocker therapy, talk to your doctor before taking Levitra. Do not take Levitra if you take nitrates for chest pains, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects may include headache, flushing and stuffy or runny nose. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience an erection lasting longer than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Levitra and call your doctor right away.
Doctors know Levitra helps treat ED, even in men with high blood pressure.
And in men with diabetes.
Over 1 million men just like me have already taken Levitra.
You should talk to your doctor about Levitra.
The more you know about ED, the more you'll want to know about Levitra.
Welcome back to the program. We bring in senior fantasy baseball analyst Eric Mack to the program. All right, Eric. This past weekend, we saw the 2007 debut of both young and old, Homer Bailey for the Reds and, of course, Roger Clemens for the Yankees. Both these guys got wins. What did you think of their starts, and what should fantasy owners do with these two guys?
Well, you got to start him, obviously. Clemens was everything you would think he should be, but it was just the Pirates last Saturday. This week against the Mets should be a tougher test. If he leaves with a one-run lead in that one, we don't like his chances of his bullpen holding his lead. That's a bad bullpen, even if Mariano Rivera gets hot. If you're worried about him losing his wins, he's a sell-high candidate right now. Bailey, meanwhile, was a little wild in his debut. We can accept it, but you have to expect it. Young pitchers will excite you as often as they disappoint you, much like women.
Oh, goodness. Oh, I'm not even going to touch that one. All right. The Tigers rotation got, now I'm all flustered. The Tigers rotation got a little bit younger on Sunday with Andrew Miller, who actually did beat the Mets, but it might be getting a little older soon with the progression of Kenny Rogers. What's the latest on him, and what should fantasy owners do with him?
Well, he should be back by the end of June. The AL champs, the defending AL champs, have a good situation with that monster offense that laid the Mets to waste this weekend. They'll be even good pitching. And they have rare depth in their rotation, a great time of the year to have it, too. It looks like Chad Durbin has pitched well enough to stick around. So once Rogers is ready, it will be up to Andrew Miller, Mike Maroth, and DL'd Nate Robertson to battle for one rotation spot behind Verlander, Bonderman, Rogers, and Durbin. One or two of them could get traded, and we think they will because Miller is talented enough to stick around, and he can help your fantasy team right now.
All right, Eric, what's going on down in the farms? Is there anybody out there that's coming up that could really help out these guys?
Well, we said it before with John Lester. We'll have to say it again. His watch continues. Technically, he's on the DL, but he's not hurt, and his day 23 of his 30-day rehab assignment is today. So the Red Sox have given their 23-year-old cancer survivor all the time he needs to feel right, and this weekend he says he feels better than he did all of last season. That's pretty telling because he was pretty darn good at 7-2 for the Red Sox last year. His rehab stint has to end by June 18th. So that could be the day he's activated. Number 5 starter Julian Tavarez is slated to start June 19th, but that could go to Lester in time for a 2-start week in fantasy leagues. Pick him up right away. On the hitter's side of prospects, which has been pretty quiet this year, 21-year-old Adam Jones is on some kind of tear in AAA. It's noteworthy when a 21-year-old can even play in AAA, but he's dominating right now, hitting close to 400 with 4 homers in his past 10 games. That kind of stretch is what led to Felix Pierre's call-up a week ago. Like Pierre, Jones arrived very young, and he disappointed his first time around, but he's the guy to watch. If anything happens to the Mariners outfield with Suzuki, Ibanez, Guillen, or the DH Jose Vidro, he could get an emergency call-up.
Okay, thanks as always, Eric. That'll do it for us for now. Keep your mouse clicking right here on CBSSportsline.com for everything you need to know in the world of sports. And don't forget to come back Thursday for our Fantasy Baseball Weekly Planner show. But for now, if you missed anything here today, stop, refresh, and rewatch. For Eric Mack, I'm Amber Wilson. Have a good week, guys.